There once lived a deceitful canon in London who was the best at double-dealing. One day this canon convinced a chantry priest to lend him a certain sum of gold and promised to repay him by a certain date. The priest promptly lent him the gold mark. The canon returned the money on the third day. The priest was extremely pleased and said that he hadn't expected to ever see that money again. The canon offered to repay the priest's kindness by demonstrating his expertise in alchemy. He told the priest to fetch him some mercury and charcoal. He then tricked the priest into believing that the mercury had been transformed into silver. He asked the priest to pile the charcoal for the experiment in the crucible. While the priest was thus occupied, the sly canon slipped in a piece of counterfeit beechwood charcoal in which he had placed an ounce of silver fillings. When the charcoal was burnt, the silver fillings fell into the crucible. The poor, unsuspecting priest had no idea that he was being duped. The canon asked the priest to fetch a piece of chalk, stone to fashion a mold, and went with the priest to convince him of the trueness of the experiment. The canon then took out a thin sheet of silver from his sleeve folds and cut the chalk stone to its size. He then hid the silver back in his sleeve. Then he took hold of the burnt beech charcoal and poured it into the mold and threw it into a vessel filled with water. He asked the priest to look for silver in the mold. The gullible priest was only too happy to find a bar of silver. To remove any trace of doubt whatsoever, the canon then offered to let the priest have a second try. He asked the priest to get another ounce of mercury and to repeat the experiment. The deceitful canon in the meanwhile took out a hollow stick filled with 1 ounce of silver and tightly sealed with wax and threw it into the fire. The heat melted the wax and the silver ran out into the crucible. The canon then told the priest to get some copper and tricked him for the third time into believing that it had been transformed into silver. The priest was extremely overjoyed and had the silver tested by a goldsmith. The priest then begged the canon to sell him the formula. The canon promptly sold him the fraudulent formula for £40 and requested the priest to keep the matter a secret and cunningly left town the next day. The poor priest could do nothing when he realized that he had been duped by the canon. Ha ha ha.